There they are. Lady says good morning after her breakfast. I wanted to show you this big old bee's nest. Hopefully you can see it. It's just outside of the paddock here. It's way up in that tree. Right there, way up top. Kind of cool. There's Charlie and the feeder. Alright, so we start with coming across a bridge from the barn. Might be hard to tell as I get closer up, it will make more sense, but my compost pile. I think I might need to change the location of it because it doesn't get a whole lot of sun, so it doesn't really heat up. So I might have to change that location. Sorry, don't mean to move too quickly, but here's the garden. But I wanted to show you this is the, now I can't remember the name of it, Mom, but that's that something begonia that Tyler gave me for Mother's Day. And I hung it down here in the shade. And these, look how big these things have gotten. These are the fuchsias. I think there's 1, 2, 3 shoots there. But look how big and gorgeous these are. But they haven't produced a blossom yet. I'll be happy when they do. This is the wood line over to the shed and the sap house. And here's my garden, my trellised garden. I don't know if you can see anything, but it's looking gorgeous. Got some beets growing here. They're supposed to be a baby beet. Those on the trellis are picklebush cukes. I pulled out a couple of plants because they weren't doing very well, but these are still producing. And these over here I planted from seed. They're a longer cucumber. I don't know if you can see that one in there. They actually get pretty long and thin. Oh, there's another one up in there too. I don't know if you can hear it, but the bees are just buzzing around here. And that's my corn. It's looking really, really healthy and good. Corn, and then I had planted this little pot here. This for some variated color. I started all those from seeds inside. And in the back corner there's some cosmos, some zinnias. They're going to be blooming here pretty soon, as you see that bud. And I'll just show you the long way around this way from the trellis. And I don't know if you saw that, but there's my biggest watermelon so far. Isn't she a beauty? Everything looks really healthy. Cucumbers, the corn, and then sap house. Then here's the beans. I did 2 rows, one on this side and one on the other. The other one is one I trellised, thinking that it would help, but that was a lot of work, so I might not do that next year. But there's the end. Is kind of a bare spot, but this here is the clematis that was in full bloom earlier. I think I had sent you a picture of. A couple of marigolds here that I just kind of plopped in here. I didn't have anywhere for it. These are going to be sunflowers here. And then there's the greenhouse. Shot of that. Here's another pot I did. I started all these from seed. It's got moss rose in it. in the bottom. And then all these, can't remember the name, coleus, I guess it is, and they're all starting to bloom. I love the variegated, this red color. It just gives the garden a different dimension and color. All these are peppers in the front, and they're doing very well. Here's another potted plant. I just put this tomato cage here because all the bachelor buttons were flopped over, and I just actually stopped weeding. I gotta prop this guy up here. Yeah, he can survive. This is was a black table that I had bought several years ago, but I think it was last year I painted it off-white. So I'm hoping to get a chair down here too, so I can sit here maybe in the evening or whatever. These are all watermelons on this end, and they're growing really strong. And then these are we got carrots down here. Show the whole row. Carrots. There's a couple of rows in the front of these so they can get the sun. I usually plant them on the inside of this trellis, on the back one, but I think they'll do better. They've done better out here. These are cantaloupes, the smaller leaf ones. Tons and tons of flowers. I did notice on the inside I do have one started. So maybe I'll get one this year at least. But these are looking really good. And then these here are cucumbers. I'll step back a little bit so you can get a perspective. Cucumber, same as on the other side. Started from seed in the ground here. And then all the way over here to the end is my squash, the Waltham butternut. Doing really well. Step back a little bit. Yeah, looking really nice. I've trimmed some so that the bottom, I'll show you the fruit it's giving me. It's kind of like a jungle in here. Everything's going every which way, but got one going there. Oh, I saw another one. There's one there. Oh, there's a bee. They're doing their work. They're all in here. And I'm sure that there'll be more squash coming. So yeah, these are my peppers. These shorter ones on this side are ones I started from seed inside. They're just, I think they're the green bell peppers. Maybe they were red ones, I can't remember now. But they're starting to produce. I think I saw one this morning. Here it is. Let me see if I can focus in here. There's a pepper in there. It's coming. Tons of flowers. And these ones here, these taller ones, these are some that Dave had given me, and they produce this kind of long thing, and they're supposed to be sweet red peppers. So just keep waiting, and there's quite a few of those growing in there. And again, in my front, got some sunflowers over here. And this stuff in the front is supposed to be ornamental kale, but I don't know. This one, some bugs or something are getting it. Oh, and look it. That's what's eating it. I don't know if you can see that, but those green worms. Yep. So I got to get rid of those. But anyway, in the center here, let's see if I can capture it right there, is, looks like they're eating in there too. I got to do something about that. I don't know how those will turn out, but trial and error, right? Oh, here's the archway. You can back up here. Looking quite lovely. Pretty happy with the results this year. Here's some more of the ornamental kale. They're doing better on this side, but yeah. They're over here too. So I gotta get rid of those wormies. And here's my sunflowers. They should be blossoming pretty soon. I get some centers going. Oh, Mom, do you recognize that? And there's the little cart you had given me. Jonathan put some 2x4s on it to make a new seat for me. I still use it, even though I have that garden cart from Gardener's Supply. I use them both. See the little frogs? I usually put a little water in there just in case the birds or the bees need a drink. That's pretty cool. Now we'll go over to the greenhouse side. Here's some of my phlox blossoming on the hill. Greenhouse that Jonathan painted. I don't know if you saw a picture of it. Mostly painted. It's kind of a hit or miss thing. These things are getting out of control. Weeds and stuff needs to be. But these 2 pots in front, I planted all of this from seed: Alyssum, Coleus, and Cosmos, and put them in here. I just watered them because they were looking, as you can see, very droopy. It's almost like I need to water them daily. And that Alyssum on the side there, on the right-hand side on the ground, those were volunteer because I did have baskets of Alyssum here last year, and it must have laid some seeds in it. They all started coming up, and it's quite nice. Actually, I just let them keep growing. Greenhouse, another pot. And then we walk over to, here's my potato bags. The first 2 that are empty don't have anything in it. I tried to start some, but they rotted, so I took them out. I still need to put some potato seeds that I bought a little bit ago. But yeah, these are really cool. They have that little Velcro door in there, so you can peek in and see the potatoes. But the potato plants are absolutely gorgeous. These are starting to wind down, but I wanted to show you, I think I picked them all off, but these, I've never seen this before. Here's one over here that's still attached. These little, it's almost like I don't know what it is, off a potato plant. Maybe somebody can let me know what that is. Never knew that they did that. They've already flowered. These are Yukon Golds, 2 buckets, 3 potatoes. I planted 3 plants in each bag. We'll see how that goes. I think those are 7 or 10 gallon bags. And here's another basket I put up. I just put that tomato cage there so things can stand up. But I thought that was quite a beautiful little combination. I think it's got some wildflowers that I planted from seed inside, and so it had bachelor buttons in it and some zinnias, and I think it's got coreopius, the yellows, and I'm not sure what this big long tall thing is, but it's got buds on the end. It almost looks like a Cosmo, but it's more spaced out and not as fluffy as usual. So we'll see what that ends up being. Yeah, I love that little color in the garden. Here's my dill bed, doing quite nicely. I'll walk down here to see the sweet potatoes trellis, which is looking lovely. So as you can see, it's getting out of control, but yeah, I put just a little white trellis in there and just start wrapping it all around each other. I gotta watch my step because it's a little precarious around here. But yeah, that's my potato tower. Isn't that cool? And this little beauty, this is also a sweet potato, but I've never seen a flower on it. But a couple weeks ago, I saw my first sweet potato flower. They're absolutely beautiful. It was like a morning glory. In this bed, I planted some, that one's about to flower, marigolds in the edge of the tomato plants. Haven't had any hornworm problems, knock on wood. There's my tomato cage trellis. I'll go around the other side so you can see what I did. So yeah, I just got a couple of U-posts, and this is the cattle panel that I got from Dave. He had extra, so I just put that sideways, and as you can see, I probably should have put it higher up on the posts because they're growing tall. They must be indeterminate. These all here are the brandywines that Dave had given me the seeds for. And I think I just saw this morning, yeah, down in here, one of them starting to turn color, so we'll see what color they end up being. But these are all the brandywines. And let's see. These are all Roma tomatoes with some marigolds sprinkled in around them. All the way down. Looking very healthy. As you can see, I've got a lot of tomatoes coming. And then just this little pot at the end, I just set it there. It has no drainage hole, so I had to tip it on its side. This was part of some of this stuff. I don't know what this drooping one is called, but it was part of the wildflower seeds that I planted. And then I got the moss rose and the coleus in there. It was quite lovely. And my Roma tomatoes. Things are growing up around here. Got my beetle bag out. This is this kind of hillside garden. I planted a daylily there, a daylily here, and they've gotten quite big, and I think those were volunteer flocks, so I just left them because they were pretty, and actually they've probably one of the healthiest flocks I've had. Got some weeds to do. My side garden. Try to walk slowly up here on the hill. My red twig dogwood is pretty much dead. I'll probably end up taking that down, or at least chopping it way down. I just weeded this. As you can see, I got to pick up my mess. And I am loving this sedum. It gives such a nice color, and then in the fall it turns in dark purple. I think you have some at your house. Right there in front is a delphinium that I planted from seed last year and planted in here last fall, and it came back, and it looks like it's going to have another blossom. This is sage. It's some sort of sage bush, and I love this too. It has tall purpley spikes. That's some creeping phlox there. I think Jonathan mowed it over. I just weeded it, and it's another. Those there are probably from weeds I had pulled out and thrown over the banking, and they all came back, so I'm just leaving them. Phlox. And some more sedum. These were some lilies. Those are really pretty. I think they were white with or the cream color leaf with like a burgundy center. They were really pretty. Those are multiplying. That there is a daylily I bought out of a package, and it's supposed to have those are my knockout roses, supposed to have a bloom like this, and I really want these to multiply, but I just barely, as you can see, took out a lot of the volunteer morning glories that were just covering all of this, so now they can breathe. But Yeah, I want to do something different here. Whew, it's getting hot out. But I love that daylily. Finally get to bloom. Volunteer morning glories are doing pretty well. I'm gonna watch foot and stepping here. Get into the shade a little bit more. It's coming along. There's still things I want to do and reorganize, and the morning glories have just been absolutely gorgeous. Here's one I kept. I put a trellis there for it to grow on because it was a pretty healthy one. It was all tangled up in that thing, but I untangled it and directed it over there. So that's my side garden. I'd show you my side garden. Here's the house down back, and the barn's down there, but I wanted to show you the yellow rose bush that I had more blossoms on this year, but it is grown so big. And I'd like to get it smaller. I guess I just keep snipping. I'm not sure, but it's definitely reaching for the sun because this area does not get a whole lot of sun. And that was a bleeding heart that came up, and it was really pretty. I gotta weed this garden too. So in the Stilby, those were actually more like a burgundy color. They're going by now, but got some hosta in here, and those look like some probably raspberries or blackberries back there. I gotta get rid of those and clean this up. But yeah. And then here are some pots of this one, and this one here. I all split apart in this one and this one. All came from a driveway side garden. It was in a Stilby. It never really bloomed out there. I think it got too much sun. So I put them in pots, and I'm going to have to relocate them. I might put them down back somewhere or along the driveway to the barn. It gets mostly shade. And I also potted up this coral bell that I had in the driveway side garden that never really did very good there. These are some impatiens that I sprouted roots on and then stuck in rooting hormone and stuck in the dirt here to make new impatient plants that I'll take in and overwinter, I guess. There's this one here, that's an impatient. They were pretty sun beat yesterday. They got too much sun. So I put them over here in the shade. And this is a slip off of the fuchsia plant. Make another one. Always multiplying. A lot of weeds in here. That was a nice pink Astilbe. And then over here, of course it's gone by now, but that was a bleeding heart. That was pretty healthy this summer. And there's my little corner garden. I still have the burning bushes there, but I did just, like about a week ago, finished up weeding this all. And I'm actually looking to push this back just a little bit or leave it right where it is because it used to be out to here. Out to here. So I think I'm going to get some more, there's some bee balm back there. Get some more hydrangeas. This is in the azalea family, and I don't know what it's called, but it is absolutely beautiful, full of pink flowers. They're so pretty. It seems to do well here, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it here or set it somewhere else. But that, and then the hosta. And then I've kind of got this idea. These are my blue hydrangeas. One, the smallest one, that almost died, I think, but I think I've brought it back to life. But no flowers. I probably need to give it something so it would flower. But yeah, it's still alive, but you know, I might. And here's the bridal's veil that Amy had given me. That's so pretty. It's too bad the flowers don't last all summer. That's getting big. I might actually make need to separate some of that and make a new plant. But yeah, I have not had a blossom yet on this. And I did not trim it last year because I heard that it can grow and bloom on old wood. So I had left most of the stalks on all winter and did not trim it back. So I don't know why it's not blossoming, but we'll see. Out here, my perimeter gardens are, I haven't paid any attention to those, so. And my rhododendron, there's a barberry bush in back of there. We need to trim some of these trees back. So I think looking here, along here, I'm going to try to get like a mound of loam, dirt, and make kind of like a border with daylilies and hydrangeas, kind of just, and then I can put some annuals in there if I want to. Yeah, it's kind of messy around here, but oh well, it's my house. Well, I'm going to take you through the walkway one because I want to show you those. This rose bush had lots of blooms this year. Since I moved it from out on that corner driveway garden to here, it's actually blossomed and filled out. And as you can see, it creeps everywhere, so I have to keep trimming it back. It's like you get back in your spot, and it's actually covering up a tree stump in here that we used to have like an evergreen stump. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, some Solomon seal from Mom's house. And my flag in there. And here's my side garden that I weeded and mulched and put an edging around that, small black edging. It's only about an inch high. And it's a no-dig edging, so they have these little spikes that you put in so they stay in place. It looks so much better all mulched and has a line to it. But so I got some sage salvia there that I plopped in last year and haven't changed. Some sedum that I put in. Those are, I call them tiger lilies, but they're just lilies, and they're from the wild. Another delphinium, and in the back I planted some volunteer morning glories back here, and they're actually taking off quite nicely. There's a bud back there. Those are delphiniums, but a different breed. And this is the red, the only one that survived of 3. It's supposed to be a red hollyhock, so I don't think it's going to blossom this year, but it looks pretty healthy, trying to keep it watered. And this is the salmon hollyhock. There's one bud left. I think it's all done. But I've picked all the leaves off because they were all just horrible looking. But it comes back every year. This one was from your house, Mom. And some pinks. Those are beautiful when they blossom. I probably need to move that hosta. These are those bearded irises from your house, Mom, that are the pale yellow and purple bearded irises. Those are pretty when they've blossomed. And some phlox creeped in there. I had taken it all out, but I can't remember what that's called, but I love it. It mounds right up in all these beautiful purple flowers. This is the second time blooming, so. And I've salvaged a little, it's like a dwarf miniature rose from the driveway garden. And this is Russian sage. 2 pieces. It was underneath a hosta plant out by the driveway, and I wanted to save it because I love Russian sage. It's hard to say, but anyway. And these are my dollar petunias that I bought at Tractor Supply. They were awful looking, but I've spruced them back to life, and they're looking quite healthy. I've got 2 of them. The other one's hanging up off the deck. My stairs. And I've got one mum that I planted from last year's buy to help the neighbor's gymnastics club. They have a lot of buds on them. I think that's the only one that survived out of all the ones I planted. I bought like 10 of them, 10 or 11 plants. So there's the hydrangea that Travis and Paula and family gave me for my retirement party. I've got to find a spot for that. Coming up on the deck now. These are wave petunias that I planted a while ago, but they're now just starting to really sprout. Of course, I've given them some fertilizer. Here's another pot of them too. And then this was, I saved some seeds from last year's, they're not really pansies, they're violas. That's what they are. And here's my hibiscus that I saved over winter. That beautiful plant. It's got lots of buds coming. It's kind of late, but here's my strawberry planter. There's a big old strawberry there. I don't know if it's going to be viable, but... And that tiered thing that I told you about, Mom, it's a Mr. Stacky. I've got 3 more of those levels that I could add on to there, but I don't. And this is what my boss and his wife gave me for my retirement. It's also a hydrangea, not hydrangea, hibiscus family, but I think it's called First Editions. Let me see the tag here. First edition, I think it's Bali. And aren't they beautiful? There's lots of buds that are going to be opening here pretty soon. So I got to find a spot for that. Somewhere, I want to put it somewhere where I can see it. Recently, I don't know, a week ago, what's the date on that? On 7/28, I started a row of spinach on the right. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds survived. And this on the left-hand side is baby leaf lettuce. It was a new package that I had gotten from Agway, I think, when it was on sale. So that's looking okay. I think I'm gonna... And this was Simpson lettuce, but I think there's all that stuff is weeds. I think there's just one plant seed that survived. The rest are weeds. So I'll have to replant that. Here's my hummingbird feeder that I bought on Amazon. You can see there's a bee there getting some stuff. I don't know what he's doing, but the hummingbirds have been absolutely wild over this. It's been kind of nice. There's a view here of my side garden. These are geraniums that Amy had given me that I overwintered. I potted them up, and look how beautiful they are. Of course, I need to deadhead, but... And here's the other $1 Tractor Supply special petunia pot. Looking pretty good. I trimmed it back quite a bit lately. And here's another geranium. I think those are the only 2, but I do have got some slips off them. I think I'm running out of time, so I'll just give you a wide view of from the deck. Garden, greenhouse, side garden. Yeah, have a good day. Enjoy.